Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever this finds you. I'm here for my daily reading, and kind of the question that I want to pose for the cards is, how can we better love ourselves today? How can we love ourselves more fiercely, if you will? And it's something that I think we tend to struggle with, because we just become so rigid in our routines, rigid in our ways, that we kind of forget to take care of ourselves. So this is a good card. It says, change direction with ease. And it goes on to say, this is a time for change, shape-shifting, or your soul's evolution. It is a time to reconsider what you are wanting. You may be in for a surprise. And so when I put this into the realm of loving ourselves, I think we don't really give ourselves permission to change direction. You know, we might be doing something, or maybe it's, kind of like where I'm at, starting a business, or maybe it is, starting a new job, or starting anything, or doing anything. And we have this thing in our mind that it has to go a certain way, that we have to do it this way, do it that way, or whatever, and we don't really allow ourselves the opportunity to see things from a different perspective, to look at things differently, to go about it differently. There is so much that we do in our day-to-day lives that I think we tend to overcomplicate. We tend to make things more difficult on ourselves than they really need to be. And so by giving ourselves permission to change direction, to do things differently, is a way to love ourselves in the day-to-day. And so if you're going about something, it just feels like you are in that grind where you're just kind of beating your head up against the wall, give yourself permission to change direction, to look at it a different way, to go about it from a different way. And you might be surprised at what comes up. So, yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Changing direction. Alright, here we go. Oh, here's another one. So this is companionship. Giving someone your complete presence is an astonishing gift. And so that is a beautiful card, again, for loving ourselves, being able to love ourselves. One is allowing ourselves to have companionship. I think today, I know even in my own life, and especially building friendships with other women, it can be very difficult to be vulnerable, to be truly authentic with yourself, because we held all of these expectations of what we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, and we often will think that another person, has certain expectations of us, when really they probably don't, but when we allow ourselves to be present, to be just in the moment with another person, it really kind of opens up this magical gateway, if you will. It allows a sense of comfort and ease with the other person, so like if you have ever been in with a friend or whatever, and you're both just truly present, it just feels easy, it feels comfortable, it feels like that it really feels like that moment is a gift, that it's light, it feels good. And so allowing ourselves to be in authentic relationship with others is another way of loving ourselves, of being able to give ourselves love, by allowing that, by being able to give that to another person, as well as allowing ourselves to receive it. So companionship, allowing yourself to change direction, and allowing for companionship, that authentic companionship. All right. This is every step counts. And it says, there is an advantage in taking things slowly. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. I like that. So, bringing it back to loving ourselves, one, to recognize that every step we do take, no matter how minute that step might feel to us, it counts. We're moving forward. And we should celebrate that. Celebrate those little steps. You know, and it says that there is an advantage to taking things slowly, to consider your options. And so we live in a fast-paced world. Everything is go, go, go. And we often feel like we have to make decisions like right now. Right in this second, we have to make this decision, we have to do this. But one way to really love ourselves is to give ourselves permission to actually pause and think about something without reacting, to be able to respond from that authentic space within ourselves so that we're not reacting and just kind of creating, you know, whether it be drama or just, you know, added stuff in our life that we really don't want or need or feel comfortable with. And so on the one hand, you know, being able to allow yourself space and permission to face a decision, to face options in a way that allows you to feel it out, you know, to feel out what's right for me here. You know, what's the best move, what's the best step for me to take. And then also recognizing that every step you do take does count. And one of the things that I had kind of been struggling with actually was, just kind of looking at perceived failures and mistakes as like, oh my gosh, this is just knocking me on my butt and I'm not getting anywhere. And what I realized is that even in those steps that we take that are seemingly failures or mistakes, that they're really opportunities for learning. You know, it's lessons. We're learning what we don't want. We're learning the way that we don't want to go. You know, we're learning what doesn't work. And so when we look at those faulty steps, or those missteps, if you will, we can recognize that they still serve us. You know, that even though it didn't lead where we wanted, that it's still serving us. And that that step did still count. And so when we look at those missteps as counting just as much as those positive forward steps, then that, again, is another way of really loving ourselves, of being able to give ourselves that love, that grace, that compassion that we need as we journey through our life. So I'm going to pull one more here. So this is true offering. And it says, true offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love. So kind of how I'm perceiving this right now is that there are things that come up in our life that, well, it's just not fun, not pleasant, not kind, not good. You know, it's like, what is that? And so when this says that it takes what can be an unbearable cross and return it to love, this to me is saying is that when we have those weights, when we have those burdens, when we have those hurts, that when we offer it in love, then that is a space where we can start to heal. That's that space where we can begin to let go of the weight, let go of the burden, let go of the hurt, and be able to glean the lessons from it, you know, take the good out of it and leave the rest, you know. And so one way of loving ourselves here is being able to offer that up in love, knowing that no matter how unbearable that cross may be, we don't have to carry it. It's not meant for us to carry around. It's meant for us to offer that up in love and receive that love in return. To know that we can be healed, to know that we can be free of that weight and of those burdens. And that is very much a part of loving yourself. Because when you love yourself, you recognize that those weights and those wounds are not meant for you to carry. They're not meant for you to carry around through life being lugged down and just stuck. That's not how we're meant to be. That's not how we're meant to live, And so when we love ourselves, we let those things go. We allow those things to go in love, and we know that they serve a purpose, that life is presenting things for us, not to us. And that's a big mental shift for some, but it's so important in that journey of loving yourself. And so giving yourself permission to change direction. When you're coming up against something and you're just like, this isn't working, I don't like it. Instead of pushing through and bearing on and feeling like you have to, give yourself permission to change direction. Give yourself permission to go about it differently, to do things differently, because that is loving yourself, that is honoring you. And then companionship, allowing yourself to be present, giving that to someone as well as receiving that for yourself. Being present is such a gift. And being present also with yourself is a gift. Being able to give yourself that space to just be in the moment, to be mindfully present, and that is a way of honoring and loving yourself as well. And then recognizing that every step counts. Whether it's a misstep or a giant leap of faith, every step counts in your life. And when you see that and recognize it and embrace that, then your way forward feels so much easier. Easier in a sense of you don't get stuck on the missteps. You recognize that, okay, there's a lesson here, I can keep going, we're good, I don't have to stay here sitting